on YouTube, and then I got to go live on TikTok. Hey, I'm live. I got to go, oh, God, I can't change my background. Oh, no. You know what? Who cares? I tried to hide my background in a messy room. Can I do any customize? Can I do any fake background? Nope. Oh, well. What are you going to do? This is part of ADHD. I have a clutter room that I used to, well, we're not going to get into that, but all right. So I'm live on YouTube. So let's get live on TikTok. Isn't this exciting, people? Oh, and it took off my, visual effects are unavailable now. Well, there you go. All right. Interesting how it has different viewpoints. All right, well, let's go to TikTok. And then I got to share this, and then we can start a podcast. Yes, I need to get the link first. Share video link. Don't think anybody has joined. Nope, nobody has joined. Nobody will join, probably. All right, let's see here. Compose to myself. Pick it. Send. All right. Now I have the link. Oh boy, here we go. Somebody's arguing with me on Threads. Who cares? More important things to do right now. Alrighty. Copy the link. And back to Threads. Now I have to go to my history because I don't remember people who asked. There he is. This is it. All right. Sharing the YouTube link. Did it share? Tried to share. Why is it not? I know what it's doing. There we go. All right. So that one's shared. Now let's just go on TikTok. So if anybody has joined, but I can't look at the screen, I'm simply doing this because I'm trying to get out there and I don't know what to do, so I'm trying new things. So how do I go live on TikTok? Create, maybe? Post live, there it is. Got it, yeah. Okay, go live. Effects, flip, practice mode. No, I don't want practice mode. I just want to go live. Practice now. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay, wow, look at that. I'm practicing live on TikTok. I don't know what is going on. Settings in practice mode may not be applied to your next live. Whatever, man. Okay. All right, do we have anybody? Nope. Not a person. Okay. So, today's episode, let's discuss some things that have happened. Obviously, I said as I got my tattoo, I'm very happy about that. Would you stop bringing stuff up? Okay. I probably will not post that part because that was 13 minutes, but we'll see. All right, how do I add live goal? What? Power. Before you leave practice mode, note that you haven't met all the requirements for live access. Check the remaining criteria now. I need at least 50 followers to go live on TikTok. Well, there you go. I can't go live on TikTok. I don't have 50 followers. So if anybody watches this, follow me on TikTok on AutisticPod, and maybe I'll get 50 followers so I can go live next time. All right. So the fun thing about my podcast is that I don't have any scripts. I don't have anything. So I do have something that I did want to talk about, though. The people that I'm arguing with on Threads. I want to cover a few things. So for those who may be listening for the first time, depending on how I edited this, you know, or you don't know, that I have rules that I preach and that I'm just going to go onto the YouTube one, not Riverside. Yeah. I wish that wasn't so dirty. Maybe I could do this. That's a little better. Yeah, that's not as bad. Yeah. Yeah. I just have no place to put that. Maybe if I go here, there we go. That's better. All right. Okay. So nobody's joining the YouTube yet. Nobody probably will join it, but what are you going to do? So people that I've been arguing with on Threads. What I talk about on my podcast is being nice to each other and recognizing that some people are just jerks. And if someone treats you with respect and kindness and openness, you should reciprocate that, even if you disagree with someone. Okay? That's what I'm preaching. We need to stop judging people. I made a note about this, so I'll read it as I said it. We all have our blind spots. For me, ADHD and autism are huge blind spots. I will forget what I'm talking about. I will, and I'll forget to post on my page that I said I was going to post where the link is. So hang on, I got to go on Threads and post this link. So maybe one of my followers will join. And then I'll post it in my paste live now. All right, and then I will do this. Alrighty, so now I posted everywhere. So getting back to what I said, ADHD and autism. See how you can get distracted real quick and not have done something important. Yep, and I have to keep it like that because you won't. So my goodness. All right, I have to find a middle ground here. God. That's going to have to do. Okay. So, ADHD and autism. Okay, let's try it again. Well, I think we're using the same one. Okay. All right, so just refresh it if it goes. Okay. So, and now I'm going to lose my train of thought maybe. I remember what I was talking about basically, but yeah. It's the only box that matters is, are they an asshole? Do they not communicate in good faith? Are they using violent language? And I'm not talking about like, they said that they, voted for Trump because that makes them violent, There are plenty of people that voted for Trump for reasons that you don't understand that doesn't make them a racist. They didn't think that Trump would be this bad and they regret it. But they're never going to admit that until you stop calling them Nazis. And let me be clear as well, as I stated already, MAGA people who are MAGA are different. The people that are heavy MAGA that go to these rallies and everything, these people are lost, in my opinion. I'm allowed my opinion, and that's what I think. These people are broken, they are damaged, they are they have the wrong they have been misled, they have been brainwashed, they have had lives that have led them down this path. And I wish them the best in finding their emotional truth and happiness and everything. But if they still support Trump during all of this, then they're not somebody that you want to. Unless, I mean, I have a friend who supports Trump, and we just don't talk about it because he's a nice guy and he's a funny guy, and he's been my friend for friggin' almost 40 years. I'm 43. I've known him since I was like 5 or 6. So yeah, I'm not going to abandon him just because we have different political ideologies. We can agree to disagree. And that's what my podcast is all about. And so I hope that someday other people will agree and hopefully see the error of their ways in the way they're acting. So, what I did want to cover, I was going to read a bunch of posts and everything, but I don't want to do that. Let me finish the note that I made to myself. I'm sorry, I'm very, very, ADHD. So, this just started from one part of a sentence. I said we all have our blind spots. Then I went off on my tangent. Some get afraid of nerds, wimps, conservatives, liberals, women, men. We all have our biases. We all have things that make us feel immediately because they are diametrically opposed to us. But you have to remember you're afraid of the idea, not the person. That's so important to remember. Sometimes we can disagree, but still like each other. Most people have something to offer. I spoke to a few women at Rockville that I went to a rock festival, and they were conservative women, and they were embarrassed at Trump. They were like, I did not want to vote for Trump, but he was the Republican, and he was better than Kamala Harris, in my opinion, because I have 401k, I have this, I have that, I have investments, I have a business, and those don't fare well under Democrats. And if you don't listen to that ideology and that logic, that's your failing. That's why liberals are not being successful, is because they think they know best and they won't listen to anybody else. Republicans can learn from liberals just as much as liberals can learn from Republicans. Everybody has something to offer. Stop thinking that you're so special, because I have something to offer here in my podcast and what I'm talking about, but I don't have all the answers. I don't know what to do. I'm trying to get my message out there and join up with people who are smarter than me. And let me show you one of those people right now, because this person pegged me so well, more than any. It makes me emotional to be seen and understood by this person, because people never understand me. Yeah, okay, you can hear me already, and some people will think that's pathetic, and I don't care. All right, so I got to scroll through here. There we go. All right. So I got to get back to that other post here. Let's find the top here. That's that. Let's see one of her first responses. I think this was, yeah, here. Yeah. Here it is. Okay. She said, I said, I've been dying to find someone who can have a polite and respectful conversation about this. And I think she was responding to, if you think you can speak intelligently, it doesn't matter. She says, but when you're autistic, a lot of the times questioning everything, regardless of social understandings or moral ethics, can be misunderstood as being on the wrong side. And that is so eloquently put and everything that I've felt my entire life. Okay. This person cut to the core of me and cut to my hardest thing in life. She can help me. She can make me grow and being able to communicate a little better with people and not alienating them or, be or confusing them that I'm not on their side. Because all these liberals that are arguing with me, I want what you want. I just want it. I just think we need to go about it in a different way. I don't think policing language is right. I don't think saying you can say this and can't say that is stupid. I hope that we can reach a point in society. This is going to be controversial. I'll never clip this, but I'll say it. I hope that we can reach a position in society when someone uses the N-word, we laugh at them because they're so pathetic and stupid. That's what I hope. I hope we destigmatize it because that gives it power. That's what nobody realizes. George Carlin had a thing about this a long time ago. Words are words. Okay. Words have no power until you give it to them. Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits. It's a great bit. He talks about how you can't say these words on television. And look, we can say them on YouTube now. So that's progress. But maybe I'll get, I don't know, maybe I'll get well, I'm not posting on YouTube, so who cares? But so I'm losing my train of thought. But anyway, she saw me and I respected that and I wanted to grow from it. And so check my other thing over here. And am I even recording? My recording stopped. Well, I'm live. Great. And this is my life. Now, the live stream is recording, so I guess I can edit and post that later. Luckily. This is ridiculous. Well, maybe it's still recording at least. I don't know. Nope. Have to restart. What happened to my... Can I not be in here? Can I not be online? Welcome back. I don't know when we got lost. Hopefully, I'm able to get to put YouTube into it where my recording stopped. I didn't see it. So anyway, seeing this is where my autism and ADHD says, "Why are you doing this? Nobody's listening. Nobody cares." Some people do care, though. That's what keeps me going, is when I post something on Threads and somebody says, I see that, I hear you, and I respect what you're saying, and I want to hear more. And that means the world to me. That's all I want. I don't want money. I'd do this podcast for free if everybody just agreed to listen once a week. That would mean the world to me. I just want people to hear what I have to say and think about it. That's it. Is that the end of the podcast? No, I don't think it is. It's a clip. Anyway, I need a producer. I need somebody to help me sort this out, man, because I can't do it. I can record it, I can say it, but I can't market it. I can't get it in front of people. So if you're watching this and you have those skills and you want to help, this is how big I dream. I've reached out to people in podcasting. I've reached out to big names. I've reached out to people that I follow on Instagram. I'm not going to mention any name. Well, I can mention Joe Rogan because, he's one of the biggest podcasters in the world. That's another thing that liberals do, is they poo-poo on Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan has no political affiliation. Okay, I don't think he does. I think that he sees what I see. I think that Joe Rogan, and I'll even mention Tony Hinchcliffe on, Kill Tony. I think that they've gone more conservative because they're trying to protect their livelihoods, because liberals just want to cancel conversation. Liberals want to cancel anything that they disagree with. And that's not society. That's not freedom. That's not the way we work. And so they've seen the writing on the wall and they go, yeah, if we don't think vaccines cause autism, and we don't think that black people have anything less to offer than white people, but some of these things that the liberals doing are worse. So fuck, we got to roll the dice. Both options suck, but at least with Trump, he'll protect our livelihood and he'll support our ability to say what we want. That's what I believe. I could be wrong. I'm sure I'll get hate. People will disagree. But what are you going to do? That's how the world works. I have my opinion. You have yours. I respect your opinion. You probably don't respect mine. And you would fall under the rule where I don't focus on you. I don't care about you. I don't give time to people who don't put any emphasis into self-growth or just accountability for themselves. Everybody, that's the biggest problem I have with the far left liberals, is they want accountability for everybody but themselves. They want to say that every single person is doing things wrong except them. They're right, you're wrong. Then they're not going to listen to any feedback. That's dumb. If you approach life like that, you're losing life and you will never get what you want, because most people are not going to listen to you. If you think about it. Let's use a metaphor or for an analogy, okay? Let's go and do a business meeting. Let's say that you have a business that you're trying to do business with. You have built up you've built up something. You have ideas. You have something that you're behind. You have something that you want to champion. And you go into the boardroom and you say, if you don't do business with me, you're a Nazi. If you don't do business with me, you're closed-minded and stupid. So do business with me. Give me your money. Is that going to work? No. Then why would it work in changing hearts and minds? Why would it work in politics? It doesn't. It hasn't. That's why Democrats keep losing. These are my thoughts. I think some people will agree. I think lots of people won't. But hey, what are you going to do? I have my thoughts, and I bet somebody who's watched this is seething. Actually, I don't think they'll ever get in front of my podcast. But eventually, hopefully, if I can get in front of enough people, somebody who watches this will be beside themselves in anger. They're just going to be, oh my God, one of my favorite comedians, Chad Daniels, calls them meh brains. When somebody says something that you disagree and you go, meh, that brain sucks shit. Shout out Chad Daniels, great comedian, smart, funny, not afraid to push the envelope. One of my favorites. Seen him live, have pictures with him, love him. I would love to have him on the podcast. That would be unbelievable. Hashtag Chad Daniels on AutisticPod. Anyway, getting back to my point. See, this is how ADHD works, people. Let's not get back to the point for a moment. This is how ADHD works. If you know somebody like this is what our lives are like. I don't know what I'm going to say next. I don't know what I just said. I couldn't repeat what I just said 2 minutes ago. Can you? If you can, understand, I can't. I just have a free-flowing thought, and then it's gone, and then I'm on to the next thing. That's ADHD for me. Everybody's different. It's a spectrum, but ADHD is just debilitating in different ways to people. It makes thinking and planning and acting very difficult. I came up with the podcast in February, wanting to record. I didn't record until late March, I think, and I've done 9 episodes. I should have more. but my self-talk gets to me, and I had an episode on fear. You know, it is what it is. But that's why I started my podcast, is I want to share these ideas of autism and ADHD and everything. Let me see if anybody is, no, there's somebody liking a post of mine. I like that. Anyway, so getting back to I just messed up my threads. Whoop, no, I didn't. Yes, I did, but I can get right back to it. All right, so starting over. When you're autistic, a lot of the times questioning everything, regardless of social understandings or moral ethics, can be misunderstood as being on the wrong side. Sometimes notice how she takes responsibility in it too, lowering guards and helping people feel connected. We just ask too many questions until we understand the other perspective to our satisfaction. It's like looking for a missing piece to make the circle turn. I do it all the time, and I can't tell you how many arguments I've gotten into with people I agree with over it, LOL. And I'll list the argument that happened. I'll read it word for word, and I can post it. But here we go. So the argument was that these far left liberals are, and again, I know I sound like a Trumper right now, but it's just the way to define them. I have to say far left liberals because I have no problem with liberals. Liberals just want to live their lives and think that other people should be able to live their lives too. They don't want to control people. Those are my people. That's the majority of society. I also have no problem with Republicans because Republicans are the same fucking way. Republicans want to be left alone, probably to have guns, to stop people from having abortions, which I completely disagree with, and that's something we need to discuss. People should have the option to have an abortion if they want, because it's their body. You have no right. How can you say we can't take your gun, but you can take some, but somebody can't choose their baby? Somebody can't choose what to do with their baby. You're a hypocrite in that instance. Another random thought. Anyway, so what I said was, to clarify this argument, we had just gone back and forth. So I said, to clarify, this argument is that white people can't experience racism. That's what people on the far left are arguing. White people can't experience racism. They say it's prejudice, not racism. It's the same fucking thing. Okay? I've looked up the definition of racism, and it says judging people based on outside characteristics, etc., like skin color. So if you're judging white people, you're being fucking racist. It doesn't matter about marginalized communities. It doesn't matter about everything. It's not saying that it's worse than being racist to a black person, but you're still being racist. It's that simple. Anyway, all my listeners probably agree to this, but hopefully it gets in front of people someday that don't, and maybe they think, but that's a long ways away. Oh boy, sometimes it's really daunting. I believe I'm sitting here in a messy room talking to nobody live on YouTube, believing that someday I'll help make the world a better place. And if you've agreed with anything I've said, if you did happen to see this podcast and you wanted to, and you're like, yeah, I really like what this guy's saying, please share. Talk about me. Tell somebody, post on your social media. Hey, I just watched this really weird podcast where this guy just talks and he has some really interesting ideas, and maybe we can follow him. I don't know. I honestly don't know, but I have my thoughts, so I'm sharing them. That's it. Anyway, so white people can't experience racism. So let me give a hypothetical, because this is my logical autistic brain. If a black man walks up to a white person, clocks him in the face while shouting, "Fuck you, whitey, black power," will the police call that a hate crime? Do we agree that race motivated this attack? If so, how is it not racist? And they replied. And again, this is only one person. This is not the spokesperson for all far left liberals, but just the fact that one person thinks this is terrifying. And I don't, no sane, rational person can think otherwise, in my view. But if you think so, debate me. Come on my show. I would be happy to respectfully discuss this. So what they said is, in your hypothetical, it wouldn't be considered a hate crime because being white isn't a marginalized identity and therefore not protected as such. So let's stop right there and think about this for a moment. You just said that whites are not a protected race in society. Does anybody hear a problem with that? I do. That's racist. That's incredibly racist. Two wrongs do not make a right. Yes, white people were abominable to people of color. There's no words. They hung them from trees. They murdered them. It was a mistake, but it will not be fixed by judging people because of the color of their skin. That's what got us there in the fucking first place. Anyway, so we're not a marginalized race, so we're not protected as such. Doing that completely unprovoked is wrong and aggressive. So you can see that they do have some common sense. But the police shouldn't be getting involved in that. So you hear that, white people? If a black guy punches you in the face and just, you just have to take it. You don't report it to the police. You just say, oh, well, that was a bad day. This is what this person said. And obviously this person is an idiot. Okay? Maybe they're not an idiot, but they're misguided. They have gone off the path. And this is what my podcast aims to fix. And I'm trying to get it out there because people don't realize that people are this bad. That's what I believe. I think if everybody in the world just heard this story, 90% of the people would go, that's fucking stupid. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. We'll find out. No, we won't. Nobody will ever listen. But anyway, I'll just keep spinning my wheels. I keep spinning my wheels, baby, because it makes me happy. It's my therapy. Look, I've got my tattoo. I can't believe I have a tattoo. I'm so excited. Anyway, see, this is my autism. This is my autism. This is my ADHD. It is what it is. Doing that completely unprovoked is wrong and aggressive, but the police shouldn't get involved in that. Okay. Like, I don't call the cops on a straight person just shouting something at me. So, getting punched in the face is equivalent to being shouted at in this person's eyes. Already, they're telling me everything I need to know. This is the best part, though. It gets better. It isn't racism because he'd be punching up, not down. I don't have anything to say to that. You come to your own conclusions. When marginalized groups say taking power, it means having their power back, not pulling a uno reverse. It should be and because it has a, oh my God, see, this is my ADHD. I know what it is. I can't think of the most simple term, and I'm going to leave this in because it's pathetic. It's a vowel. Yes. Wheel of Fortune. I need to watch more Wheel of Fortune. I knew that, but it just wouldn't access in my brain. That's ADHD, and it sucks. You can hear I can communicate very well, but sometimes my brain just says, I don't know, man. I don't remember. You're gonna have to wait. So, yep. And my response was, yep, we disagree. No more to be said. Sorry, we disagree, but thank you for a nice conversation. And then they kept going. So anyway, Yeah, but the person who saw me was just so, it meant so much to me. And so I wanted to share that, and I wanted to show what I said was, when she said that, I said, thank you, thank you, thank you. That 1,000,000% that. Because so many people think they know me. So many people think they know what I did. When I suggest that all Trump voters aren't Nazis, I'm told that I'm a Nazi and a Trump voter, and then they block me. It's pathetic. You're so scared of having an honest conversation because you know your logic isn't supported. And that is why you are never going to get anywhere, because you can't prove anything you believe. And so I Googled, can white people be hate crimed? And the answer was, of course, yes. And so, they were literally just wrong. And then they're like, "Oh, I'm surprised by that." Let's look at that. Let's look at that too. What was that? It doesn't matter. Anyway, no more on them. So that might be everything. Maybe I'll have a shorter episode this time and people can digest it. Let's end on this. Raise your hand if you think society is where it needs to be. If you have your hand up, we disagree. If you don't have your hand up, follow my podcast. Let's talk about it. Come to my next live podcast. I'll start being live. I want feedback. I want people saying, I agree 100%, or you're evil and a Nazi, or whatever. Come and share your thoughts. Maybe you'll convince me that I'm wrong about the fact that a race, white people, can't have racism put against them, even though it's in the word. And there's probably a better way to say that, but who cares? You know what I mean? Yeah. And this is why one of my first podcasts was about logic and reason, and I have so much more to talk about. I can talk about how I was fired from the job after being top writer for 3 years, how I saw how becoming more corporate, that company was making plenty of money, but they just kept having to make changes to make a little more at the sacrifice of employees and clients, and it's disgusting. That's not the way to do a business. So I'll do an episode on that. I plan on doing an episode on, I don't know, other stuff. Who knows? But what's this? See, somebody just said I replied to somebody that said I would rather have engagement than just followers, and I said I get neither. LOL. I said less than 200 followers on Threads, and some of my comments get 0 to 5 views. I think the algorithm hates me. And then one of the people that likes my post said liked it and said I try, and I said thanks, man. That means the world to me. Because they really do. They do like my posts. And that just one person liking my post means the world to me. I can't imagine what people feel like when hundreds of people or thousands of people like their posts. I hope that I can get to that point one day. I feel like these comments should get that. If that's egotistical or if that's, whatever. I don't care. I'm solely based on logic, and my logic makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense to you, come on my podcast and debate me. And if you can't come on my podcast and debate me, stop. I don't know. I don't know. If you believe that strongly in it, and you're that offended by something I said, and you won't come on my podcast to debate me, I feel like that means that you're not that confident in your belief. I hope That's another episode. Yes, I hope to have a whole episode on discussing this about racism in America because all right, I said I was going to be honest. I honestly believe that racism is what 10 years ago, well, not even 10 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, racism was on its deathbed. And you know who's keeping it alive? Liberal left. Let that sink in. Who else talks about race more than anybody? You know how you stop racism? Stop putting people in boxes. Stop separating people and saying, you're different. You're white, so you're not as important. He's black, so he's more important. Oh, he's black, gay, and trans. So, oh my God, he's a unicorn. He's unreproachable. I said in another podcast, nobody is infallible. Black people can be wrong. White people can be wrong. Women can be wrong. Men can be wrong. Autistics can be wrong. Neurodivergence can be wrong. Gays can be wrong, trans can be wrong, any box you Republicans, Democrats, liberals, conservatives, Floridians, United Kingdomans, Englanders, everybody can be wrong. If you think somebody can't be wrong because of their race, you're racist. I don't know what else to say. Just okay, let's try this. Here's the thought experiment. I challenge any far left liberal who thinks that putting people of color and marginalized voices on a pedestal and putting other people down, I challenge you to make a column of your beliefs and racist beliefs and see how many things line up. Judge people by the color of their skin. Check. Think people are less or more valuable by outside appearance. Check. Attempt to harm people who you think are harmful for society. Check. So nobody joined the well, somebody joined, but my live wasn't working, but that's okay. Thank you for everybody who listened. I think I'm done. I don't know how I can follow that. I want any far left liberal who disagrees with what I just said to come on my podcast. Any. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you have 1 follower or 10 million. I would happily debate you because that's how strongly I believe in what I just said. I want what's best for society, and what's best for society. See, I keep going. I always think I'm done, but then I come up with something new. I want what's best for society, and what's best for society is to stop hating each other and stop judging each other. There's so many bullies out there. If you start a conversation with somebody, with a stranger, with curse words or insults, you're a bully. And if you were ever bullied, shame on you. Because you should know better. You know what that does to people. And 2 wrongs don't make a right. So, thank you for listening. I hope people like what I have to say. I hope I don't get canceled. I don't know. I don't think I said anything too controversial. I said my opinion. I said facts. I supported my facts with logic and reason. And so if you come off half-cocked, you fit into the one box that I support, which is you're an asshole. You are an idiot. You are ignorant. You are selfish, and you don't deserve my time. That's what I take it back. I invite anybody to come on who wants to debate me respectfully, with an open mind that stays on topic and that doesn't uh, use harmful rhetoric or judgments or and I had this conversation with somebody as well yesterday that I'm not preaching, oh, hug everybody. I'm not a hippie. I don't care about most people. I don't. Most people don't care about most people. I think everybody doesn't care about most people. They just want people to be able to live their lives. And the more rules and judgments and everything you put on people, the more insults and everything you hurl at someone just because they have a different opinion than you when they're being respectful, you're hurting their ability to live their life. So you're not practicing what you preach. And so that's it. So takes a lot out of me. It's I know I'm sitting in a room with 6 people, but it is scary to say some of these things because people are crazy out there, man. But if you've been so riled up by me calmly stating my opinion that goes in the face of yours, ask yourself why. Is it maybe because I've made good points? To quote one of my other favorite comedians, Jim Jeffries, who has his gun control bit where he says that people in the crowd are going, if you don't like it, go home. If you don't like it, go home. And because he's making good points. Same to them. Hey, Jim Jeffries, I'd happily interview you too. I have a list of people that I would love to interview because they inspire me, and one of them is well, we can get to those things I talked about in the previous episode about heavy metal and Memphis May Fire and Bring Me the Horizon and all of that. And that's my inspiration. You have to do things that make you want to live life. You have to have goals. You have to grow. You have to want to make yourself better. If you think you're the best person that you can be, you're wrong. There's always something we can do to grow. Whether it's listen more, and that's one of my rules too. Respect people's track. When people start talking, you should respectfully listen and wait and hear them before you respond. And that's coming from a person with ADHD who has to think in their head, I'm going to forget this idea if I don't say it in 10 seconds. But it's more important that I'm respectful and listen. So I have my rules. If you want to go, if you liked this podcast, go listen to my other podcasts. If you want to hear the blanket rules, you could. Well, if you want to hear the rules as they were first introduced, that's in the 3rd episode. And if you want to hear the rules very succinctly summarized, it's the Rock Festival episode. I think it's episode 5. That's where I started saying the rules in every episode. But I don't remember most of what I said. I remember being confident in it. So hopefully people aren't too angry. Once again, I don't think anybody is listening at this point who would get angry. But if you do, and you think you can be respectful, I'd be happy to talk to you man to man, man to woman, man to however you identify, and speak as humans. Because I'm just a human being who has a brain, whose brain has come to these conclusions that he believes are logical based on fact and reasoning. And so if you have different facts and reasoning to present unemotionally, I will listen. If you present it with emotion, I will try to listen. But if you put all emotion into it, I'm not going to respect your opinion, because if you say, oh, you're supporting Nazis by not hating Trump voters, or no, you're wrong. You're just wrong. I will stop listening to you immediately. And that's what it always boils down to. But I have had nice conversations with people as well. I've even got a few followers out of it, and I applaud you for practicing what you preach. You are the moderate liberal, or possibly Republican, or on whatever. I hate talking about politics, but I mean, how can we not talk about politics when there's protests all over the country? And and good, great. I love the fact that that RFK is getting called into question. I love the fact that Gavin Newsom, I don't follow politics at all, so I don't know what his problems are. Apparently, everybody has problems with him, but I love the way he's been responding to Trump. This is the way government should have responded to Trump day one. He is a dictator. Look at his military parade he's spending $50 million on. Okay? Republicans, justify that. Justify that. You're so fiscally responsible. Why does somebody need a $50 million birthday? You know who does that? Kim Jong-un, Putin, dictators. So it is what it is. We all have different opinions. I respect your ability I respect your freedom to have a different opinion. But if you don't listen to others' opinions, if you just tuned me out, or you haven't made it this far. So I'll just say thank you for everybody who has made it this far. Thank you for listening to my, crazy logic. I hope to be able to interview someone soon. I've talked to many people who say they would be up for an interview. So, hopefully those will come soon. But I do plan on doing an episode every week. That's why I kind of just came in here and went off the cuff, because I didn't know what I was going to talk about. I never know what I'm going to talk about, but usually something can come up where we discuss interesting things. So thank you so much for listening. And I hope, like I said, if you hear anything you like, share me, tell people, hey, you should listen to this podcast. This guy, sounds different than every other podcast out there, because I think I do. Who else is doing a podcast in a room on the floor talking about inflammatory topics like this? And I'm not trying to inflame. I'm not trying to get views, because I don't. I'm just speaking my beliefs, rooted in fact and logic and reason. And so if you have a problem with that, I'm sorry, but the only way to change my mind is to come on my podcast. And if you won't be logical or reasonable, I will not post the episode, or I will just post the clip of you being illogical. But and I never post an episode either without approval from both parties, of course, with the interviews that I've done. So I even suggested having a safe word before, which we could also do, because some people have boundaries, and that's such a healthy thing to have. And that's why I have the rule where you eliminate people who show you that they're not communicating in good faith, that they are, I mean, let me read one last thing, because I think it's super important. Let me get to it, and then I'll say this again, because I want to clip it. Where is it? I'm going to leave this here. People are always liking it. Now I posted it. Didn't I? I know I posted it. thought I posted it. I just saw someone commenting on my post that made me very happy. This is how terrible I am. I'm definitely going to have to edit this out. Good thing nobody's watching live. There it is. Nope, that's not it. Dang it. I'll just Google it. And I can't find it. I will say, if anybody has any doubts about what I'm talking about, check me out on Threads. You can see all these arguments live. I have seen so many people like this. Did somebody block me or something? Oh well. No. All right. Well, let's pick it up in 3, 2, 1. All right. So I tried to do something else, but my ADHD brain and technology couldn't find it. So we're going to end here. I'm going to try to edit this down so it's a reasonable time. Take all the YouTube stuff out, and yeah. I don't know how to end things, so I'll just say thank you for listening. And I look forward to hearing any feedback anybody has. I hope if I struck a chord with you, you like me enough to share, follow, do all those things. And what I really need is somebody to help me with a podcast. So if you liked me and you're in podcasting and you want to collaborate, hit me up at AutisticPod on Instagram. I don't know how to do anything else but talk. So hopefully I can get this message out because I think it's important. Thanks for listening and have a great day. I think I might just make this one audio.